Welcome to a new Harry's Farm video, and that is the first load of wheat leaving on a lorry off the farm. So that's 29 tonnes I've just loaded on the farm. I'm quite pleased actually. If you just come down here, because this wheat this year is incredibly heavy, and sometimes I have to put 17 buckets on a load to load a lorry. This was the 14th bucket and there's still some in it, so 13.5 bucket loads to load 29 tonnes. I haven't quite worked that out in my head, but it's well over 2 tonnes a bucket, and that means this wheat is weighing incredibly heavy. It's the density of the wheat, which measured on farm. It's called bushel weight, but it's spec weight as well. We now weigh it in a metric way, which is kilos per hectolitre. Always used to be in bushels. The USA and Canadian farmers all use bushels, still use bushels, and it's ever so confusing. But we use kilos per hectolitre. So this weighed 81 kilos per hectolitre. This bucket is 3 cubic meters, so if I fill this up brim, I've got 3 times 810 kilos in it, so 3 8s are 24, so 2.43 tons for a full bucket by that hectolitre wheat. So anyway, that is the good news, and it's hardly made a dent in the wheat pile in here. I think there's around 320 tons or thereabouts, so we've taken one load out. That's all we've got left. That is a little pile of damper wheat, which is around 16%. I will do some careful blending and that will quietly disappear, and we'll use it for some bird feed and things like that. Okay, what I want to do now is nip out to the fields, because last time you joined us we were putting the oilseed rape in. That's all coming up now, but there are a few issues. So let's go out to the fields now. Well, this field has now been drilled 10 days, and if we get down and have a look what's going on, we have oilseed rapes coming up. There we are. We're at the stage, so that's cotyledon stage, it's termed, just growing there. I think that is a first true leaf just coming through, that one in the middle. Looks sort of okay. I would have liked it to have been a bit bigger, but you always worry about that. But it is through the ground. It's fairly sparse. Now this hybrid, we put it in this hybrid variety of oilseed rape, Excited. You drill quite a low seed rate. It's very vigorous, they tell me. When the winter it will all sort of grow and take up area, and you don't actually want too many rape plants per square metre. Drilled it at 50, let's say we get 40 plants per square metre. It's that order. Much less than you'd get with if you put in wheat or barley in. And it always, it's just nervous that have I got enough coming through. What I'm don't want to see is that sort of thing. I think that might be slugs, but it's this cabbage stem flea beetle, this bug that just has wiped out oilseed rape since this seed dressing we're no longer allowed to use. We've had 3 or 4 years. And it has decimated the UK crop, and people aren't growing as much. I've gambled by growing oilseed rape this year because it was a wet sort of late August. The weather came right. It's a crop in great demand, so I've gambled by, right, we'll put it in if the weather's right. And this year it was very right. We've had a week of rain on this, and that's why it's come up, and it should grow out of it even if beetles come in. At the moment there are no real beetles to see. It's the first bit of damage I've seen is that one eaten there. I would like to say that's the end of it. There's less good news. If we just trip down this field, something else is going on this field, and it was all panic stations over the bank holiday weekend because we had to quickly rescue the crop. So let's go and see what's going on there. So this is the field where that wheat was, and it got flooded out. We drilled it in about February time. We had that bare patch in the middle, and I've been walking this almost on a daily basis since the oilseed rape went in, just to see it come through the ground, to see if these flea beetles are going to come into it. And there were certain areas where just nothing was emerging from the ground. The seeds weren't showing, and I was getting increasingly worried. First of all, I thought, well, has it been put in a bit deep? And then I saw a bit of a nightmare, and that was there was evidence of slug damage. What I was starting to see, we get these volunteer wheat, so this is volunteer, it's come out the back of the combine, it's just growing. And if you look at that leaf, that is eaten in a very distinctive manner, and that is what slugs do. They strip the leaf like that. And I was starting to see that, and I thought, I know I had a further look, we were getting severe slug damage, and that was why there was nothing emerging from the field. It was a bank holiday weekend, but I rang Prochem, my guys, who said, we've got a problem with the oilseed rape, we need to put some pellets on. They got some out on Sunday, which is very kind of them, and on Monday morning, John Walker, we were spreading out here all the slug pellets. That was 24 hours ago, and already, if you look here, you can see the distinctive slime trails of where the slugs have obviously eaten the slug pellets and are not feeling very well. I don't know how much we've lost. It's everywhere. There's more slugs. You can see it all here and here. And there's the dead slug. There's the culprit there. There's the slug that's eaten it. Real bad news. I've lost. The trouble with slugs, when it's just coming from the ground, it wipes it out. So even, here we go again, for harvest 21, I've already lost a proportion of the oilseed rape. And we'll probably spin some on, have to re-drill some areas, but it's just trying to work out what those areas are. So there you go. It's always a battle. I was expecting the battle to be with this Carry flea beetle. Turns out the battle was with slugs. And it's really annoying because I felt I should have put the slug pellets on in advance, but yeah, I was trying to minimise the spend on the crop because you don't know what you're going to get until it's actually come through the ground. I've just seen over there the cattle are down in the bottom. We ought to just go and have a look at the cattle. We haven't seen those for a few weeks. Okay, well, this is the group of Sussex cattle we have on the farm. This is known as a suckler herd, as I explained before. They live on the grass most of the year. They do go inside for the winter, very happily grazing, and the calves are at foot, so they're with them. So that guy, look at that guy, he was born this spring. These are spring calvers, as it's termed. They start calving sort of end of February into March and into April. It's a 9-week window they're calving in. And these are the guys that were born early this year. They're just one there, these two guys here. And they're staying with mum right the way through until weaning. I do like these. They're Sussex cattle, these. They're just a very nice animal to be around. There's two with horns. Oh yeah, there's one. They actually have horns as the breed, and you debud them as calves. It's just a little, just literally take the nip of the bud as the horn is forming, take them out. But that mum got missed at that time. There's another one over there. There it is. The other one, the horns, and they look the part of horns. It just makes handling them in a crush a bit tricky, and you put them in a Ivor Williams trailer and the horns get a bit in the way and things, but they look fantastic in the field. So there you go, that's sort of a bit of a summary of what's going on at the farm. One thing I should note, I walked down here, we're still getting trouble with people wandering off the footpaths, and the Foster's beer cans down in the gateway I've just found down there, which is so annoying. If you do go on a walk, please take your rubbish with you. I don't want these guys eating it, and it's a problem all around the UK at the moment, as we're all using the countryside more during this staycation period. But yeah, great to see these cows. Look, we've got an audience, my new fan base. There they are, all about 4 or 5 months old, aren't you? Are you having fun? Are you having fun? You're not sure, are you? There you go, all having a look. Yeah, so all the mums will actually, they stay in this group, this spring calving. They'll all be calving again next February, March time, and repeat the cycle and graze this, all this permanent pasture down here. All the grass here is permanent pasture. This is just making use of the fields that are far too steep for arable. That's really quite steep, those fields, and this is also an organic herd. So these fields haven't had anything on them, any sort of fertiliser or sprays or anything. Long before we bought the farm, we bought it in 2002, so that's 18 years. This is just pure natural grassland. what UK does best. So there you go, there's a little roundup of Harry's farm, what's been going on the farm. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, more videos coming along very soon.